91.3.
It's midday. Good afternoon. Welcome to 12 Live here on Class 91.3 FM in Accra and affiliates across the country. If you're listening in the Volta region, this is FM 92.5, Dogban FM 102.5. It's also picking the bulletin live in Tamale. We are live on Radio 192.1 in the Upper West region and also live on Radio Power 96 in Spain. And around the world, you can join us on classfmonline.com. And coming up this afternoon, U.S. Immigration Court grants former Finance Minister Akrofi and Aidoo's I-485 petition, allowing him to proceed with his application for permanent residency.
Also coming up in this bulletin, the Ghana Education Service tightens security at Wasi centers across the country after Boko Senior High School attack, which left a teacher injured.
Examination center, there's a security personnel. So we are actually conducting this examination in close collaboration with the security personnel.
Okay.
They are rightly aware of what has happened, and so security detail has increased. Of course, since it is security, we wouldn't break down everything, but
also, Ghana Education Service interdict Bole Senior High School teacher over alleged sexual misconduct.
Investigations, as we rightly indicated, have been initiated. And I'll continue to emphasize on this. Every time we get a report, no matter the form of the report, whether video, either pictures, statement, test, or anything, investigations are initiated.
Police arrest 39-year-old man in connection with the death of University of Cape Coast female student. Meanwhile, the university has assured parents and students the campus remains safe.
Recently giving us some facilities to deal with security issues. So campus is secured in terms of the ordinary security that we talk about.
The government engages Canada over Thomas Partey visa ahead of Panama clash. In African news, Nigeria Army frees widow of former general who died in captivity. These plus many other stories, including sports, coming your way shortly.
We are grateful for your time with us here on 12 Live on Class 91.3 FM. My name is Charles Akrofi and I'm here with
Elizabeth Aidoo.
Now, a United States Immigration Court has reportedly granted an I-485 petition filed by Ghana's former Finance Minister Akrofi and Aidoo, paving the way for him to proceed with an application for lawful permanent residency in the United States. Sources familiar with the proceedings said the court raised concerns about the circumstances surrounding criminal proceedings initiated against the former minister in Ghana. My colleague Kwame Ochi Jr. has been following this development very closely and has joined me in studios with more. Kwame, so what more information do we know or do we have as far as this whole thing is concerned?
Very well, Charles. So there's a statement from the legal team from Mr. Akrofi and Aidoo, that's Minka Premo. So we'll share that shortly to our listeners. But let me take you back to the chronology of events, how the whole thing unfolded. So,
right.
Between January and February 2025, the OSP invited Akrofi and Aidoo to appear in person for questioning in connection with ongoing investigation. Mind you, 3 allegations that was leveled against the former finance minister Akrofi and Aidoo. So one, the SML, the famous SML GRA contract, revenue assurance contract. Number 2, issues surrounding the famous National Cathedral, and the third one, other public procurement and public finance decisions made during his tenure as the finance minister. So On the 12th of February 2025, he was declared wanted. You recall that the OSP had a press conference declaring that Ken Ofrata is a wanted person and fugitive of justice, arguing that he had failed to comply with the directives to appear personally before the OSP. So on the 18th of February 2025, there was a temporary relief through his lawyers. Ofrata proposed returning to Ghana between the 14th and 30th of May after undergoing a medical procedure. We all recall that statement from Ken Ofrata. And also the OSP accepted the proposal and temporarily removed his name from its wanted list. Record that press conference as well. Now on the 13th of March 2025, there was a court challenge. This is it. Ken Ofrata sued the OSP at the Human Rights Division of the High Court. Well, he challenged the legality of being declared wanted and sought removal of his name from the wanted list, among other reliefs. Again, on the 2nd of June 2025, he was re-declared wanted. We will call the press conference that as well. The OSP said Ofrata failed to report on the agreed dates. According to the OSP, no sufficient justification or medical evidence explaining his absence was provided. Therefore, the OSP reinstated him on its wanted list and again described him as a fugitive. Fast forward, let me bring you to 18th of November 2025, where there's a formal criminal charge against Mr. Ofrata. So the OSP formally charged Ofrata and several others with numerous corruption and corruption-related offences. The charges were linked to primarily to the controversial GRA, SML GRA. I've talked about it. Then in December 2025, court orders and extradition documents. So the Ghanaian court authorized service of summons of Ken Ofrata outside the country. Extradition documents was finalized and transmitted through diplomatic channels to the United Kingdom. Now, let me come to the current status. So criminal proceedings have been initiated. Extradition efforts involving the U.S. authorities remain active, and also the court appeals and legal challenges continues. Ofrata has not yet been tried and convicted. That is it. But let me share the statement from
that's the statement from
exactly. Just briefly, it says that Ken Ofrata's green card petition has been granted by U.S. immigration courts. The court heard evidence relating to actions taken by Ghana's Office of the Special Prosecutor, including the OSP's earlier decision to declare Mr. Ofrata fugitive from justice, and at a time when he was reportedly undergoing medical treatment in the U.S. and while his lawyers remained in communication with investigators in Ghana. The court finds the criminal charges in Ghana not credible. However, the court's ruling was made within the context of a U.S. immigration proceedings. The court's decision was forced on whether Mr. Ofrata met the legal requirements for adjustments of status. So that's a statement from Menka Premo. That's the legal team for Mr. Ken Ofrata. So
So the placing emphasis on whether or not Ken Ofrata meets the legal requirements,
exactly,
to file for processes that would ensure his permanent stay in the United States, as opposed to what criminal charges we are having
here in the country
against him here in Ghana. I see.
So it's going to be a real battle between Ghana and the US as far as the extradition of the former finance minister and the tag of corruption and corruption-related offense against him is concerned. So I'm sure that later in the day, I'm sure from now to the end of the day or tomorrow, we're going to hear from the
Special Prosecutor
to deal with this matter. Charles.
Very well. Kyoji, let me thank you for your time this afternoon. And so that's my colleague from the newsroom, Kwame Ochi Jr. The news that we have as it is now is that the United States Immigration Court has reportedly granted an I-485 petition filed by Ghana's former Finance Minister Ken Ofrata, paving the way for him to proceed with an application for lawful permanent residency in the United States. And you heard it right here on Class 91.3 FM. This is 12 Live. We'll bring you details on this development as it unfolds in our subsequent bulletins. But for now, let's move on to some other stories.
The Ghana Education Service has tightened security at overseas examination centers following the violent assault of teachers at Boko Senior High School, warning that students found attacking invigilators or engaging in examination malpractice will face sanctions even after completing their final examinations. The assurance comes after calm was restored at the school following the deployment of military personnel to contain a student disturbance that left school properties damaged and a teacher injured. The unrest occurred at about 1 a.m. on Monday, June 15, 2026, when some final year students reportedly went on rampage after school authorities refused to allow examination malpractice. During the violence, one teacher was allegedly held against his will while another was assaulted. The injured teacher was later referred from a health facility in Boko to the Upper East Regional Hospital in Bogatanga for further treatment. The Municipal Director of Education, Isaac Azaso, has been speaking.
Unfortunately, at 2 a.m. this morning, I had a call from the headmaster of the school reporting of students causing damage and destroying properties of staff and then the school. But because we are under curfew, I couldn't come out of my house until this morning. The main reason, as we've gathered, is that some of the Form 3 final year students who were supposed or are supposed to complete their course this week by Friday decided to take the law into their own hands, saying that the management and staff of the school did not permit them to engage in exams malpractices. Hence, the damages that we have seen around the school.
So, what damage on campus?
A lot of things, as you can see, the electrical fittings, student master's properties, and then both their properties, and I understand one of them, tutors, was kidnapped by the student and one also beaten by the student. And that master has been sent to, he was first and foremost sent to the nearby hospital in Boko. Now he has been referred to Bolga for an immediate surgery because of a damage that he received from the student. This time around, we are not closing down the school. We brought in the security as quickly as possible to maintain law and order.
That's the Municipal Director of Education in the Upper East Region, Isaac Azaso. My colleague Aziz Ayaba joins me on the line to give us the latest update on what is currently happening in Boko concerning the disturbances that happened on Monday. Aziz, run us through what's the latest after the military deployment.
Yes, so calmness has restored at the Boko Senior High School, despite the riots yesterday, leading to the beating of some students, demolition of school fence, burning of motorbikes, electrical cables being cut off, fridges being destroyed, powers and so many things being destroyed. Though upon all these disturbances, calmness has been restored on campus. You know, one thing that occurred was that as the security in the process of keeping calmness and then restoring peace lead to the beating of some students very severely. So this morning I was speaking to some parents about the disturbance, but they were very disappointed about the reactions of the security, though the security tried to keep peace because of the power of the students that lead to the beating and disturbance of that. But this morning I can confidently tell you that calmness has restored on campus, and students are on campus, especially those who are about to ride. But most of the Form 1s and Form 2s to have returned home because of fear and panic. But GES have let us know that there's no fear for alarm because they've brought in the security to be on campus 247 to protect the rest of the students and their masters.
Have you gotten any information on the injured teacher?
Can I hear you there?
Have you gotten any information on the injured teacher?
Yes, the injured teacher have not actually been released. He's still undergoing medical care. So we are following that particular story very well. Before I left the campus like 2 hours ago, and before we even go on air, I tried to reach out to the headmaster, but I think he has also been very busy on one or two. So we are following that particular issue on the teacher's issue.
But before I let you go, can you confirm that it was only the examination malpractice that they were not allowed to engage in that caused the chaos in school?
Well, so that from what the GS director told us, it wasn't just like they wanted to have the exam malpractice in that particular night, but I think it was a developing issue because I'm speaking to some of the students back doors, I'm speaking to other people on campus, but it is a developing issue that leads to the distractions on the back. That is also a key factor because students are saying that masters were very hard on them. Masters have also seized their phones. I'm sure during the exams, some of the papers gone and other related. So there are certain issues that are not being managed that led to what we saw yesterday.
Okay, we'll keep following. We'll come back to you for more update on the story. That's my colleague in the Upper East region, Aziz Ayaba. Let's still stay on the line and speak to security consultant Richard Kumado. Good afternoon, Mr. Kumado.
Good afternoon.
It seems every year this teacher-student assault happens. What should government or what should the education ministry do to make sure that these things don't repeat itself again?
I think no punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies. So it's one of those we are seeing. The second one will also to look at the security environment of the schools. The physical security environment probably would need to be improved. Then the third one will be to do what we call public education for people to be made aware of their behavior and what the consequences are when they begin to put up antisocial behavior in relation to destroying government property. Then the
Do you
last
think
one will be that the parent-teacher relationship, the PTA platform, can become a little bit more active in order to address some of these issues that keep occurring.
think bringing back corporal punishment would ease down this chaos?
I didn't hear the question.
Do you think bringing back corporal punishment will make sure that
Now,
we'll
these are
put these
people who
students...
are finished school and they believe that they were not allowed to cheat in exams. So this is not somebody who is in SS1 or SS2, but these are people who are finished school and they believe they were not allowed to cheat in exams. So the core operational word here is they're not being allowed to cheat in exams. So we need to ask ourselves where we came from and to where we are now. And I believe many of those things can be addressed using the PTA platform. When excesses occur, such as this, then the law must take its course, and people need to be held accountable for their behavior that led to the destruction of schools' property.
Anytime this issue happens, we deploy military to calm down the place and the students. Is there any other measure that the education ministry could look up to in going forward?
Now, I think military is deployed because of the peculiar situation at Boko. Other than that, the police are the first responders, and they should be able to handle some of these issues. Boko is experiencing a peculiar situation which warrants some level of additional force to be sent to the place. PTA, Ministry of Education, School Management Board, they all have a role to play. And if they can take their responsibilities seriously and work together in a coordinated manner, some of these things could be curtailed or the effects could be minimized.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. That's security consultant Richard Kumado. Now speaking in an interview with Class News, the public relations officer of the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenyi, said security has been tightened and strengthened at WASI examination centers nationwide.
Initial reports indicate that there are some students who felt that about 2 teachers were too strict in the invigilation of their WASI, and so they believe that because of the strictness of the investigations are currently ongoing, as we do with all reports that come to us. We first engage the parties involved, get to understand the issues, get to the bottom of the issues, get the perspectives of all the parties, and then align the report with the code of conduct of the service. They are rightly aware of what has happened, and so security detail has increased. Of course, since it is security, we wouldn't break down everything, but security detail has increased.
That's the public relations officer for the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenyi.
Now, staying a while longer on education matters because the Ghana Education Service has interdicted a teacher of Bole Senior High School in Savannah region following allegations of sexual misconduct involving a student. In a statement, the GES said it became aware of a disturbing video circulating on social media which allegedly captures inappropriate conduct between the teacher and the student. Now, management has since initiated investigations into the matter. Pending the outcome, the teacher has been interdicted in accordance with GES rules and regulations. The service condemned all forms of amorous relationships between teachers and students and reiterated its zero-tolerance policy on sexual misconduct. Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenyi, has been speaking to Class News on this development. Take a listen.
investigations, as we rightly indicated, have been initiated. And I'll continue to emphasize on this. Anytime we get a report, no matter the form of the report, whether video, either picture, statement, test, or anything, investigations are initiated. Because beyond what you have seen circulating on social media, you would want to get to the bottom of the issues so that you can take the right decisions and even give out punishment, the most appropriate of sanctions. Now the teacher has been interdicted. For the rules and regulations, sexual engagements are not allowed in any shape or form, even when the student consents. So if we're a teacher, the question of what are you doing to the student, and I've heard a couple of teachers mention that, when you mention that, it straight away indicate that you have not read the code of conduct of the service. Because the code of conduct of the service says that even if a student walks to you herself, that she wants you to have sex with her, you refuse. You don't indulge her. And so, of course, we are not preempting. But what happened?
Well, so that's the Public Relations Officer for the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenyi there. This is 12 Live here on Class 91.3 FM. Early on, we scheduled to speak to Irene Sam, who is the Public Relations Officer for the Parent Teacher Association. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to speak to her. We'll bring that conversation to you subsequently, perhaps on 505.
The Ghana Police Service has arrested a 39-year-old man, Michael Mensah, in connection with the death of the University of Cape Coast student Innocentia Avenue in Cape Coast. According to the police, the suspect was picked up on Monday, June 15, at about 7:15 p.m. At a lorry station in Cape Coast by the Inspector General of Police, Cyber Vetting and Enforcement Team. The arrest follows what police describe as a sustained intelligence-led operation. Preliminary investigation indicates that on June 11, 2026, at about 6:48 p.m., the suspect, who claimed to be a teacher but also worked as a driver, picked up the deceased from Plaza Hotel enclaved within the campus area of the University of Cape Coast and drove her to beach where she was last seen. The Public Relations Officer of the Central Regional Police Command, Inspector Isaac Evans, gave further details on this issue.
So the bloggers and anyone in right term, we are urging them to stop spreading the false news. If police hasn't released any news concerning any situation, especially this one, we urge them not to spread false news and cause fear and panic. Some parts of the news were false. There was no body part that got missing or cut off. Every part of the body were intact, not whatsoever. We urge the new media, even the traditional media, sometimes they get carried away. We are pleading with them to stop the spread of false information, so that you leave the investigation to police officers for thorough investigation to be conducted. Thank you.
That's the Public Relations Officer of the Central Regional Police Command, Inspector Isaac Evans. Meanwhile, the university management has assured parents and students that the university campus remains safe. Director of Public Affairs at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Kobina Entry Kunedu, told the media that the institution is cooperating with police investigation and urged calm within the university community.
On the issue of security on campus, remember the University of Cape Coast is surrounded by no less than 10 communities, and so definitely you have challenges when it comes to security issues. Not the communities creating security problems, but you agree with me if you are surrounded by about 10 communities. However, University of Cape Coast will be one of the places that there is always security. We have our own security setup. We have district police on campus. We are collaborating with Ghana Police Service, including even the IGP recently giving us some facilities to deal with security issues. So campus is secured in terms of the ordinary security that we talk about. The campus is restricted. This is not because of the incident, but like all other campuses, there's a quasi restriction on movement, and that is ongoing. So I want to use this opportunity and to urge every parent out there, our stakeholders, that UCC campus is safe, except that this issue has happened. I wouldn't say that because it didn't happen on campus, it has no implications for us.
That's the Director of Public Affairs at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Kobna Aidoo.
12 live on Class 91.3 FM. Now, 6 Ghanaian master students studying in Loughborough University in the United Kingdom are expected to stage a protest at the Ghana High Commission in London on Tuesday. That's today, June 16. And of course, you should expect that the protest is underway, hopefully by now, over unpaid tuition fees and living stipends. Now, the students Noah Kra, Emmanuel Boache, George Osei Boabin, Abena Fosua, JC, Irene Pomakumi and Jumo Evelyn say they have not received any tuition fees or payment of monthly stipends from the government of Ghana since beginning their studies in September 2024. In a statement issued on June 15, the students described the situation as a prolonged financial and emotional hardship, despite repeated assurances from government officials that the matter would be resolved. According to the group, a total of 3.42 million Ghana cedis remain outstanding on their student accounts based on records from Loughborough University. They warned that the continued delay in payment could prevent them from graduating on July 7, 2026, as the university is withholding graduation documents until the fees are settled. We'll follow up on this development closely and bring you more details as and when it unfolds. But this is 12 Live here on Class 91.3 FM. Elizabeth?
Charles, before we go to Parliament and speak to Zita on what is currently happening there, the Member of Parliament for Damango, Samuel Abujinapo, has challenged the government's claim of operating a lean administration, arguing that the latest presidency staff report raises questions about the size and cost of the office of the president. His comment follows the submission of the presidency's annual staff report to Parliament by President Mahama in accordance with the Presidential Office Act. The report shows that as of December 31, 2025, the presidency had 808 employees made up of 233 political appointees and 575 public servants and other staff. In the video circulating online, the former Lands and Natural Resource Minister questioned why presidency compensation bill continues to rise despite the government's repeated assertion that it had reduced the number of political appointees. Let's take a listen to him.
Parliament reveals that as of 31st December 2025, the office of the president had a staff strength of 808, down from 921 in 2023. On the face of it, this appears to suggest a leaner administration. However, a true and careful analysis reveals otherwise. This figure does not include political appointees, advisors, and special assistants serving across ministries, departments, and agencies. It does not include communication and corporate affairs directors and similar political appointees across MDAs. And importantly, it does not include the offices of deputy ambassadors and other political appointees created in Ghana's diplomatic missions abroad.
That's the Member of Parliament for Damango, Samuel Abujinapo. Let's go to Parliament and engage my colleague Zita Okwan, who is reporting on the press conference held by the minority on the Afari Military Hospital. Zita, tell us more on what the minority have been saying on this issue.
Well, Lizzie, the minority this morning rejected claims by the government that an outstanding payment of the $85 million is responsible for the delays in the completion of the Afari Military Hospital. So the former Deputy Defense Minister, this follows the Deputy Minister for Defense, N.S. Bujajimfi, in his recent Facebook post suggesting that the contractor had demanded settlement of the alleged debt before returning to site to complete the project. So addressing the press this afternoon, the former Deputy Defense Minister, Kofi Amankwa Menu, he, however, said that that claim is not true, and since he is insisting that available record shows that the contractor is rather owed only $500,000. The court further argued that the project was nearly completed before the change of government, and they accused the current administration of attempting to create grounds for what it describes as an unjustified financial claim. We can take a listen to the former Deputy Defense Minister as the minority is calling on government to settle the outstanding balance and ensure the completion and operationalization of the hospital.
Zita, because of time, we would push the sound to 5:05. Is there any other thing you need to let us know before we wrap up with you?
Well, I must say that the bell has been rung for Parliament to begin sitting. Members of Parliament are yet to sit in the chamber for proceedings today.
All right, we'll come back to you for further details on this story on 5:05. Now, are you ready to review your fortune? Review Scratch for Win is here to change your life for good. Just dial *850*5# and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis or more in cash prizes instantly. It's easy, it's exciting, and it's regulated by the National Lottery Authority. Simply dial *850*5 on all network and select the stake amount. Choose your station to play, and the stake amount is from 5 cedis to 2,000 Ghana cedis. You choose your lucky card out of the 5 option. You confirm gameplay and enter your Momo pin. You receive your game results and winnings instantly. It's easy, fun, and exciting. Get ready to scratch, win, and live your best life with Review Scratch for Win up to 1 million Ghana cedi up for grabs. Review Scratch for Win. Scratch keke. Nadisika Seibam.
Now, how about we reward you for your loyalty for all these years? And Electroland Ghana Limited is giving you weekly and monthly big rewards when you buy Samsung, TCL Media, and Nasco Electronics anywhere in Ghana and from any authorized dealer or reseller. So just buy your LED smart TVs, split AC, double door fridges, auto grill, gas cookers, washing machines, sound towers, microwaves, blenders, mobile phones, and more from Samsung, TCL Media, and Nasco, and dial *928*8. That's *928*8888#. I take it again, *928*8888#, or go to register.electrolandraffles.com to enter our weekly and monthly draws approved by NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Electroland Ghana Limited, rewarding your patronage the big way. But remember, terms and conditions apply. Well, that's how we wrap up today's edition of 12 Live here on Class 91.3 FM, which came your way from our studios here at 3rd Walk Street, North Laboni. My name is Charles Akrofi, and I did this with
Elizabeth Aidoo.
Remember to always visit Class FM online for some more stories. And at 5 o'clock, you want to join KOG and the team as they bring you in-depth analysis and into the day's big issues. You just don't want to miss. Stay tuned to Class 91.3 FM. And up next is the afternoon business review with Nanaoye Ankra, Nanajiman Prempe, and the team. Stay tuned to Class FM and enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye bye.